Yep. So I know last week, actually, no, what the week prior to last week, um, I had promised you that I'd do my absolute best to be here every Monday and every Thursday. Sadly, I had gotten really ill, and I simply wasn't able to talk, and it was this whole thing. But this video, I worked as hard as I very much can. All right, this video I've included everything that I've learned so far over the past couple of months from last year up until now. Um, I'd ask you to stick around because I pretty much almost guarantee you're either going to find something of value, right? Something that changes your perspective, that could potentially change your life if paid attention to, or you could foster a better understanding of something that you probably left unnoticed, something that you've probably underestimated, right? So, as far as that goes, let's dive into the universal principles and philosophies to better your life. Now, right before we dive into the specific topics, solutions, and everything of the sort, note that some of these principles are based off The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. So, I've been doing a bit of reading on that. I guess that would make this episode 2 of Book Club. So, some of these principles will also be taken from there as well. So, first and foremost, and ironically enough, overcoming obstacles. Now, one of the very most important things that I learned from this book is a change in perspective, right? In this change of perspective, it has a sub requirement. The sub requirement would be this level of acceptance, right? This is technically two sectors within one, but the book goes to explain that not every negative event might be as negative as you might think. Or it is just as negative as you might think. Bad, negative, whatever the sort, right? And obstacles go further than just obstacles. It's hard times, it's hard circumstances, situations, hard feelings, everything of the sort, right? Me right now, I don't want to. I don't necessarily want to be here. Something I've been severely ill, and then recently I had my phone stolen. I don't want to go all in detail because I don't want to make it look like I'm fishing for sympathy or some shit like that. It's not a good feeling, and I don't want to be here. But as Robert Kiyosaki says, a fake teacher is someone who doesn't do as they teach, and I don't want to be that kind of guy. And I made a whole video about discipline, and in order to make that video credible, I have to show you that I'm a disciplined person, and that's why I'm here, right? And it doesn't necessarily tie into a change of perspective, but that is me overcoming obstacles, right? I guess you could say another subsection would be discipline, but that's pretty much not even on the script here, so we're just going to cut that out, all right? A change in perspective. A change in perspective is understanding, like I had mentioned prior, things are either not as bad as they seem, sometimes maybe just as bad as they seem, and sometimes things can simply just be looked through another lens, right? And I say this has a level of acceptance because you can't sit there arguing and thinking about what it could be otherwise, right? What your life would be if you did something different, or how things would be if you just acted a different way. I don't know, but it's a level of acceptance because you have to accept the way things are. You have to accept your situation, that you either up, that you have a terrible situation. It doesn't even matter whose fault it is, okay? The level, in order to even begin overcoming any obstacle, situation, circumstance, whatever, you have to accept the way things are. Only after acceptance can you start working on your perspective, right? For me personally, again, I'm not going to try fish for your sympathy. That's why I'm not going into the whole story. But me having my phone stolen due to my own stupidity, as much as I want to weep or cry or just to feel sorry for myself. My brain simply isn't even wired that way. And within a few hours after, especially after reading this book, I realized that, again, I just have to accept the way things are, right? Because what the hell's the point in spending hours upon hours, days, weeks, or months of your own time complaining about something that's already happened? I know it's difficult. I'm not saying it isn't difficult, but it's obvious, is it not? Not all of us want to accept the way things are, but if you actually want to make a change in your circumstances, right, you're going to have to. You have to accept it. And a change in perspective. I know I keep kind of rattling a little bit more on about acceptance rather than perspective, but perspective, especially on the surface level, is simply just seeing things differently, right? Look, a reason why change of perspective is such an important and underestimated technique, right, or principle of overcoming obstacles is because through changing your perspective, it opens you up to finding opportunities that your circumstances provide, right? I know a lot of you might have a terrible boss, or just a terrible job, or an unloving family, or struggling the living crap out of school, right? But a change in perspective, and I can't necessarily give you all the answers, right? You have to do your own independent thinking. No one's going to sit you down and give you all the answers, okay? But the reason it is important to explore different perspectives is because it opens you up to the opportunities that your circumstances provide. I know it sounds like I'm like some kind of broken record or some shit that I'm constantly repeating the same shit, but I'm doing my best to jam this in your head because it's so profoundly important. Actually, you know what? Another side rant. Whilst I said I didn't want to be here, just because of... Actually, no, that's a good example. I accepted my circumstances for how stupid I was, and now I lost my phone, right? I accepted it. I changed my perspective. I viewed this as an opportunity to enforce the behaviors that I wanted to have. Because it hurts. I'm in pain because of it. Not physically, but I'm in pain because of what happened. And I'm doing my best to use that energy or this opportunity that is provided me to be here, to record my best video yet, right? I worked hard on the script and for the research behind the script, and I made sure to cover everything and all the most important things that I've learned and that I could share with you guys. And that's why this video is so important to me, and that's why I almost pretty damn much guarantee you're going to find something of value. If not already, then you're going to. And a third subcategory, right, into, yes, we're back on topic now, is something I think it was Epictetus is famous for. And that's focusing on what you can and can't control. Sometimes you can just, a simple practice, right, an actionable step is you draw two buckets on a piece of paper, right? With these two buckets, you write can't and can. And above these buckets, you're going to, of course, write the things that you can't and can control. When it is in front of your face, that's why I love writing like on paper, which was like my Christmas. I got a bunch of new books just to, do writing in because it turns out I need it. But you begin to realize what things are truly pointless to be spending your energy on and what things are actually worth it, all right? Because again, focusing on what you can't and can control, again, is also another level of acceptance. Maybe I should have just labeled this entire section acceptance, but it's pointless going through life complaining, because that's all you're going to do. And nobody likes to hear about someone complaining. No one likes to hear that gnawing friend going on about their tough shit in their life and they do nothing about it. That's the worst part. And I bet you don't want to be one of those people either. It is super duper important to focus on what you can and can't control. Do you know how much wasted energy I personally, not like me and pretty much everyone else out there, like 70% of your energy is focused on complaining. Have you ever tried going 30 days without complaining? Because I tried that. That's another practice for entrepreneurs, self-improvement guys, I don't know. It's just a practice, going 30 days without complaining. And I tried, and I survived 7 days, and I failed. It's not easy, but being able to focus on what you can control, none of your energy will be wasted. None of your efforts will be done in regard to something that you might want to be in your control, but simply isn't. And it's a level of acceptance, not only a level of acceptance, but a level of understanding. In order to overcome obstacles in general, you need acceptance, you need understanding, and this is all of yourself. You need to be able to focus and understand what is and isn't in your control. You need to be able to change your perspective and see things differently. It's not easy, I know, and it's very, very difficult to see what kind of opportunities your terrible circumstances provide. I guess that's the fifth one, isn't it? Finding the opportunities. It's not easy, I know, and not once have I ever said it is easy, but it is almost simple. Almost. And that is pretty much a brief explanation on this book. Technically, I'm like 50% the way there. So, second, and a very, very popular topic of mine personally, and that I find super duper 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 important, and something that I think everybody should learn. Everybody, not exaggerating. Everybody, is the importance of presence. Now, I don't know if you've watched a few past videos of mine, or if this is the very first time you've seen me, nor do I even know if you've ever heard of practicing presence before, right? Maybe you've heard of mindful breaths. That's also like a semi-practice of presence. And presence in a nutshell, right? Again, is pretty much mindfulness. And the reason I find presence or mindfulness to be so important is our minds as human beings are primed to always act and think ahead, right? Always thinking of a threat. That's why we're always thinking of problems and issues. We're always thinking ahead, no matter what, we're always thinking of problems, of issues that either are happening, happened, or are going to happen, and when you practice presence, you pretty much let go of those thoughts. I'm not saying that you should always be present, right? Sometimes it's important to run over these issues of yours, right? Because that's how you overcome obstacles, like we just briefly explained. But again, it's not particularly healthy to be spending every minute of the day thinking about that kind of stuff. Or what's today's age doing, right? Like spend every day on TikTok, just scrolling. The first thing you do when you wake up is scroll. Like, I don't understand how people do that. Like, I'm sorry if I'm acting hateful. It's unhealthy, man. It's unhealthy. But with presence comes mindfulness. Like another actionable step, right? On a habit tracker, I added mindful breath, right? This is a practice of presence. Another practice could be like meditations, or actually, yeah, just meditation in general. But another would be a mindful breath. And I spent at least just one breath, breathing as deep as I can through my nose and breathing as deep out through my nose. But sometimes I just spend one moment in the day focusing on my breath. I'd focus on the way it feels and breathing as deep as I possibly can. And by focusing on that breath, the moment you breathe out and you open your eyes and you're looking around you, you let go of that constant hyper-stimulated mind of yours, and you're looking around you and you're paying attention to the plants, the birds outside, your surrounding. I guess another practice could also be a form of gratitude, when you sit there and you're paying attention to all these things and you just begin to appreciate everything that you have and the way things are for you. And I know sometimes, a lot of the time, things are difficult for you and it's hard to be grateful. But I know for a fact, everyone has at least one thing to be grateful for. And why not practice that every day? Why not live a life of gratitude instead of a life of constant complaining and constant... If you think about the negatives is all you're going to get. Right? You could be rich as shit tomorrow, but the moment you start panicking and thinking about like what people say about you or the rent you have to pay, whatever the right? You don't even get to enjoy your own money. That's just one example, of course. Not all the time is it that way, but even the most poor of people, or the people that have just recently gone through something or still going through something, you can still live a life of gratitude. It's not easy. Like, I know how much people are willing to scream at me about things being easy, or I make it sound so easy. No, it's simple. It's not easy, it's simple. But the thing is, you don't have to live a life of complaining. You don't have to live a life of such strife. Be grateful for what you have. Pay attention to what you have. Practice presence. It's not just this moment of difference. It's a moment of bliss. It's a truly divine feeling. That's why, I think it was the video before this one, I mentioned a moment with nature. I guess the better way to describe it, as I then again said, is a moment of presence. Truly, I mean, life is so different when you just one mindful breath a day. That's all you have to do. You don't have to meditate for 30 minutes for the rest of your damn life. Just try it. One mindful breath every day. And you'll get better and you'll get better and you'll get better. Some days will be a bit worse, some days will be a bit better. It's fine. But you're trying, you're practicing. And sometimes, again, when you're looking around you, then you'll begin to practice gratitude. Like when you enjoy, like I always look out this window when I'm recording, because I begin to realize just how beautiful nature is. It's right next to me. And when I practice that breath, that's when I look outside, and that's when I practice gratitude. So just try it, okay? It's just a method to better your day to day, to better your mindset and perspective about things. Thirdly, we have another super important topic: the student mindset. Now, the truth is, most of us go through school, through the system, because of the way the schools are designed. There's a whole study about how it's designed pretty much like jail, with the way the hallways are designed and the bells, the whatever the shit. And it ruins the experience of learning, because we feel obligated to learn the stuff that we don't want to learn. And it's not an enjoyable experience, and we're not comfortable, and we don't do it in our own time. It's not of our specific interest. And that's why the process of learning is ruined for us. So the moment we exit school and we pop into a job, we just stop learning, right? And the importance of the student mindset, as I'm pretty sure you've probably figured out by now, is to continue learning. And when I talk about this whole school nonsense, I'm literally not bullshitting you. The moment I quit school, okay, I say I quit school, I just do online by myself now. But the moment I left, within a year, I have found so many interests of my own. I'm studying things like philosophy, psychology. I used to hate reading. I was never able to read a book. Again, I can read. It was just so boring that I didn't want to. And now I'm trying to spend every amount of money that I have on a book, right? I have so many interests. Even in history, I hated history. And now I found a particular interest in it, because the process and the experience of learning for me has changed ever since. And the the student mindset is so important and learning is so important is you begin to just grasp things from life. When you abduct this mindset, you begin to question this constant need to understand and to perceive different things and circumstances that happen in your life, and you begin to, like with the negative experiences, it becomes this automatic thing in your mind. It doesn't actually take that long. For me personally, every time something bad happens to me, the student mindset of mine is trying to learn multiple things, right? What happened? What went wrong? Was it my fault? Was it their fault? What the hell? And once I've covered that, and once I've come to a level of acceptance, like we described, this mindset of mine is trying to perceive and understand how understanding this could possibly serve me in the future. We just allow things to happen to us, right? Some of us accept, some of us complain, but we just allow it to happen to us, and we think nothing of it except the fact that it's bad, or sometimes good. But that's as far as we go, right? Like, we never stop to think about how this opportunity can serve us. Like, does that sound strange to you? Like, have you never thought about it that way, heard it that way? How can this negative experience serve me? And that's the beginning of a student mindset. And another thing with a student mindset is almost something else that I tend to talk about as well, is this level of, not this level, it's the principle of self-investment. Now, self-investment can go many ways, right? Alex Hormozi's funny way of putting it is you can either invest in the S&P 500 or the SME 500, right? It's cheesy. It's not my joke, so forgive me. But what that describes is, forget about investing in the actual S&P 500, right? It's an investment portfolio. But the SME 500 is more valuable. I invest in the SME. And that is, first and foremost, the most popular would probably be books, right? You're investing in yourself, in your own knowledge. You're trying to expand your mind, and you read about multiple things, right? I read about I read about habits, and I'm reading about psychology, and I'm reading about like overcoming hardship in life. And that is me investing in myself. And it goes for more than just books. Self-investment could be routines. It could be habit trackers, to-do lists, right? You're improving your day-to-day. That is the very basis of self-improvement. Improving your sleep schedule. That's a super important one that so many people they truly underestimate it. Like, if you just try it for a week, that's the least I expect of anybody who watches this video. Just try any of these techniques for 1 week, and I promise you, your life will be better. How could possibly gratitude, sleep, focusing on you can't and can control, practicing presence and appreciation, how could any of these things be bad for you, right? Like, are you at least eager to try one of them? Because you should be. This is to better your life. I hope you're not just watching this for entertainment purposes. I hope you're genuinely sitting down, looking me in the eyes, and paying attention and wondering which one of these techniques is going to serve you the best. You can try all of them or just one of them, but that's all I want for you. I designed this entire script a specific way to let you all know the most important and most valuable things that I and a lot of people have found that better. It's probably not going to better your entire life, right? That's up to you. But maybe just your day-to-day. Maybe just 1 week of your life. Maybe a month. That is just my goal. I'm just trying to help you. I'm sharing my best information with you. Now, fourth topic. The secret behind ambition. The video before this, I had spent the entire video describing my purpose, right? Again, I will briefly explain it to you just for the new viewers. My mission for you, my mission in general with this channel, is to return the power behind ambition and autonomy to the youth, right? Each and every one of those words is special to me. Autonomy, self-governed, right? Control over one's circumstances or himself. Super important. That's what the Stoics talk about all the time. Ambition. We're going to dive into ambition like in a few seconds from now. So I'm just going to leave that. To the youth, I say to the youth because I find it's just, I say to the youth because when I was reading and learning about the Spartans and how they improved their forces, their military power and whatever the sort, I guess it's not military, but whatever, is they focus less on the men and more on the boys and bringing up the boys a specific way. And they created, I think it was called the Agove method. And yeah, I think they made them fight barefoot and they gave them one robe to wear throughout the year. And they made them fight barehanded and to march in silence. You know, they taught them all these techniques and they focused on the youth so that the future generations would be far stronger. And it proved worthy. So I say to the youth, because my general aim is to go for the younger audience, like teenagers or maybe up until 20s. But if you are of an even older age, that's perfectly fine, because again, I probably know for a fact that this can be found in value to anybody, regardless of your gender, your age, whatever the sort. These are life lessons, these are principles and philosophies that I've learned. But as the section describes, ambition. Ambition is extremely important. The reason for that is it gives you a sense of purpose and direction in life. And I could literally just leave this section like that. Direction and purpose. That should be enough to convince you. Surprisingly, it isn't for a lot of people. But a lot of people just go through life on autopilot. They just let things happen to them. They don't think about them, and they have no direction, no purpose. They just live, and that's it. And that's boring as shit, especially as a man. Especially as a man, it is important to find purpose, to find your mission, right? Because things in your life, when you visually see things in your life align with your purpose and your goals and your mission, it's a divine feeling. Especially if you're striving for something meaningful to you, you begin to see things that are worth it and what are not worth it, and it enacts and enforces like acts of discipline and sacrifice and hardship, right? And these are all important things in life, and that's why it's important to find your purpose and to be ambitious, because those three traits that I just listed to you are like, I think more Stoics, I think it was also Seneca, talked about those who don't experience diversity or hardship have lived the worst lives of all. Because without that, life, you could say it's bland, you could say it's boring, or just not worth living. It's important to experience those things, to enact those behaviors, right? And your purpose could be something simple. It could be a form of charity, form of helping someone, or something for yourself. It doesn't matter if it's selfish or not. Unless it's to destroy the economy or future lives of people, then, well, I don't have to explain that for you. But it's important. Very, very highly important, especially for a man. And it's just this level of stillness and boredom and just this, you wake up. I know this is actually a big thing for a lot of people, but you wake up and you don't feel excited. You're not ready to tackle a day. You're literally bored. That used to be me for a very long time. But now, things have been a bit tough lately, but still I wake up every day trying my hardest to be the best kind of person I can be, to be here on YouTube, to succeed in the other realms that I'm pursuing as well. And I do most of the time, I say 70% of the time, and I'm still going to improve that. I wake up excited because I know that there are things to do, things for me to do. I am young, but I still have purpose, right? Age does not matter. Yes, this could go for women as well in finding your purpose. Again, things do align. Things are pretty much the same for you as well. I just find it is more important for men. I do believe in a more traditional sense of relationships when it comes to femininity and masculinity. So I'm not always keen to suggest for women. That's why most of the time I'm talking to men. But again, these techniques can be used for any gender, any age, anyone. And those are 4 techniques, principles, and philosophies. But before you click off, before you allow those terrible attention spans of yours to go find something hyper stimulating, there was this quote from Stephen Bartlett: "Those who believe they can and can't are both undeniably correct." I don't know if that's exactly it, but I guess this is the 5th section, would be mindset. Alright, and that very quote that I just read to you is something extremely important to me. Matter of fact, in this book that I was reading, he was covering Steve Jobs and when he was bringing up Apple. And I think it was one of his lead engineers that told him, I think it was about the mouse that they were trying to design, and it has to be smooth in every direction. And he told him it was impossible. The next day he came to work, he fired him. Alright. It seems extreme, and the truth is, when it comes to life, when it comes to these videos, when it comes to success, being extreme is almost necessary. But again, it could be changed in perspective, because I don't actually see it as extreme. I see it as necessary. But it's not extreme to me, because how is it, honestly? You're just trying to improve your life, right? You're just trying to get the best that you possibly can. And the thing I constantly repeat to everybody is you set the standard for your life, right? Why would you settle for less? Why would you date a person below your standards? Why would you have friends below your standards? Who cares about being ruthless or heartless or whatever they call it, right? Why do you care? You're bettering your life. Your life. You should stop constantly thinking about how this affects this person or that person or what. At the end of the day, again, it sounds cliche, but you're here once, man. It's your life. Think about the kind of life you want to live. Think about the kind of sacrifice that requires, the kind of standards that you have to set. Friends, relationships, family. I know family's the hardest one, but you still set the damn standard. I support Steve Jobs. I'd fire the guy too. He hired another guy. You wanna know what that engineer said? He said, "I can do it." Of course he got hired, and he did it. You have to not only tell yourself, but believe. And that is the importance of your word. And I guess that's another subsection. But your word's important, not only for other people to trust you, but for yourself to trust yourself. Because you can say, "Yeah, I can do 500 push-ups in one go." But what if you don't believe yourself? You're not going to do it. But if you truly believe, if you remove your limiters, you're probably going to do it. It takes hard work. It takes practice. It's not actually that simple, or at least when it comes to this mindset stuff. But you can do it. I believe in you. So you should too. I hope you guys find something of value. I hope this video served you well. I know there has to be something in this video. I keep pointing there because my script's there, just in case you're wondering. I know there had to have something, or one of these techniques can improve your life. Try one of these for 7 days. I think the last section was undoubtedly the most important. When it comes to your word, when it comes to believing that you can, do not limit yourself. You're going to be tempted to be limited by everyone else. Why should you do that to yourself as well? Believe you can. Say that you can. Do not utter words that limit yourself. You're only making life worse for yourself. But I hope you have a good day, night, morning, wherever the hell you are in the world. And thank you for watching, truly. It makes me very, very happy when I see people watch a little bit later into the video to show that people genuinely tried to not allow their terrible attention spans. I know a lot of people probably clicked off by now, but the fact that you stayed says a lot about you. And I'm proud of you. And I'm very, very happy that you're here. It's your choice to like this video or to comment or to join me in my community. I'm here to stay, and that's guaranteed. That's your choice. So without further ado, don't compare. Compete.